Welcome back, Thundercats. Another episode of the Grow Show coming at you right now, guys. Kyle Evans, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Maps coach, Bold coach, all the things. Getting to hang out with you each and every workday morning. Well, the majority of them. For your daily checkup from the neck up. This week, we have been talking about time horizons. What do they mean? How do they show up? What do they look like? How can we use them to influence our life in the correct way? When we think about time, most of us are trapped in the short term. We're trapped in the short horizon. We obsess over the day. Some of us, we stretch to weeks, right? We're looking at the week ahead. Few of us will plan for the year, but almost no one looks out for the decade. And yet, the 10-year plan, the 10-year horizon is where true greatness lives. It's where your reputation, words, it's where your reputation, it's where your wealth, maybe even your family legacy, it's where they're built or forgotten. Today, I want to challenge you to step out of survival thinking and step into significance, step into intentionality, step into understanding your purpose, your passion, and your process to get where you desire to go. Like, for instance, what would your life look like? What would your business look like? What would your relationships look like if you actually thought and acted in 10-year blocks? That's what we're going to unlock today. That's what we're going to spend some time talking about. If we're being honest, this is of the short, medium, and long of the year, the month, and the year, the quarter, and the day. The 10-year one, I struggle with the most, right? And so as I wrestle with these things, I want to help put them on your plate so you can kind of noodle them as well. Let's think about this. As I was doing some research for today, as I was looking at why 10 years matter, I came up with some great things, and you're going to recognize a lot of these names. For instance, why is the decade horizon different? There's a guy, he's bald, he's rich, his name is Jeff Bezos and Amazon. Bezos didn't ask what will change in 3 years, he asked what won't change in 10. Think about that drastic different mindset, that different perspective. I'm not saying, hey, what will change in 3 years? Should we do this? Should we do that? What if I'm looking out over the horizon? I'm saying, hey, what we're going to build this business on, what we're going to build our direction on is some of the foundational principles of human psychology that will not change in 10 years. He built Amazon on being obsessed with customer service, on unshakable truths like this. You guys know these. People will always want lower prices. Go back to the barter system at the dawn of time. People be haggling. We're always going to want lower prices. We're always going to want things as fast as possible, and we're always going to want more choices. That's Amazon in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. That's why they invested into Prime and logistics years before they were profitable, years before it was a good decision on the books, on the P&L. The question to resonate with today is, what are you building in the long term? When we think about psychology, present bias, being bias of the present, Daniel Kahneman proved that humans heavily discount the future, heavily discount the future while we trade things that we drastically, deeply want in the future. We outweigh the present moment. We give those things up for what we want right now. We drastically discount what's on the horizon to scratch the itch right now. We trade retirement savings for a new car. We chase instant closings. We think in thinking in decades is going to fight that bias. Understanding your core principles, understanding the direction in which you're rowing is going to help you say no in the present and say yes to the future. I'm sure you've seen that. Like, think about it in health, man. Let's say you're on a health journey, you're on a health kick, you're looking to lose some weight, and you know where you're going and you know why you're going there. And yet, that stuffed crust pizza and that bottle of wine that day, I'm going to give up the future me. I'm going to give up what I actually desire of being in shape, being healthy, being whatever for the instant gratification of that delightful pepperoni pizza. We heavily, heavily discount the future and we outweigh the present moment. Let's take it to technology. Apple, the only phone you need to know. I'm sorry if you're an Android person, get an Apple. Guys, Apple, when the iPod came out all the way in 2001, the iPod wasn't the goal, it was the gateway. It then led to iTunes, the iPhone, App Store. Each move wasn't random. They were playing a decade-long chess game. They were lining up their dominoes and knocking them over so they could hit progressively larger dominoes, progressively larger milestones. But they knew the direction. They took the time to plan the decade. If we're talking about real estate, to my agents out there, people who think transactionally will always remain salespeople. If you are looking at this instant one transaction and not the relationship, the decades long service that you can provide to this person, this family, you're missing the mark. The agents, the business people that think in decades are the ones that build brokerages, that build investment portfolios, that build financial freedom, that actually impact families' generational wealth. The decade horizon is where vision, ladies and gentlemen, transforms into legacy. But we got to slow down and think about it. And I'm not talking at you this morning. I'm talking with you because my goodness, I have not slowed down in quite some time and planned where I'm going in 10 years. It sounds like I'm here live telling you what I'm going to be doing this weekend because I do believe it's important. And yet we get lost in the sauce. When we think about the power of 10-year thinking, there's this tiny, tiny university you've probably never heard of called Stanford. And they did this thing called a marshmallow test. This was back in 1972 when they rolled this out. They tested kids, children. I've got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and we have done this test. And let me tell you something, guys. I'm worried about the future. What they found was kids who resisted eating one marshmallow in the present for the promise of 2 marshmallows in the future. So they gave them a choice. Hey, you can have this one marshmallow now, or you can wait a little bit and we'll give you 2 marshmallows in a little bit. And they were like, cool. Some of them ate the one marshmallow now. Others said, you know what? I'll wait. I would rather 2. The ones who waited for 2 marshmallows, who could show that control as a child, they followed them. They looked at the long-term ramifications. The ones that waited for 2 marshmallows showed better outcomes in school, their health, their careers, decades later. Guys, long-term orientation literally changes your life trajectory. It's that simple, and yet we ignore it. How do we go from good to great? Jim Collins, right? There's this principle called the hedgehog concept. Essentially, it means focusing on one thing and doing it very, very well. Jim Collins found that companies that identified one simple guiding focus and committed to it for a decade consistently outperformed everyone else. For instance, Walgreens, heard about it, probably seen it before. They decided that their hedgehog was convenience. Every choice flowed from that pillar. Every choice flowed from that foundation. And over decades, it created dominance. There's a Walgreens on like every corner in the nation. If this is making sense to you, this is tickling your brain this morning, I've got an exercise for you. There's a lot of awesome coaches I look up to that do this exercise, and I think it's a jammer. It's writing a 10-year letter. Writing a letter from your older self 10 years in the future. And asking questions like, what did you build? Who did you become? What daily habits made it possible? What happened? What does your life feel like? What does your wealth look like? Where do you live? What does your house look like? What do your key relationships look like? Understanding where you're going 10 years from now gives you an opportunity to bring it into the present and make real, tangible steps towards that. Remember, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and drastically underestimate what we can do in 10. Decade thinking reframes decisions away from immediacy and into permanence. There's a guy you may have heard of. His name is Walt Disney. In the 1950s, your boy secretly bought 27,000 acres of Florida swampland. How many people would have looked at that and been like, this dude has frankly lost his marbles? 27,000 acres of swampland? Dope. Guys, for a decade, he dreamed, he planned before Disney World ever opened. And now people take pilgrimages across the nation to the House of the Mouse. The funny thing is, he never lived to see it finished, but his legacy is still going. Running since 1938, the longest study of happiness from Harvard, its biggest finding was that fulfillment over decades, pay attention, give me your eyeballs, give me your ears, fulfillment over decades comes not from money, not from status, but from deep, enduring relationships. When I'm talking about that 10-year letter, when I'm talking about that goalpost you're setting, make sure that your key relationships are on there. Your friends, your spouse, your family, your children. What do those relationships feel like? What do they look like? How much time are you spending together? Like when I'm saying write this letter, I mean author this letter. Get into the details. If we just ignore it, we're going to keep living the same 1 year over and over and over again and calling it a life. The fact that you're here this morning, the fact that you're listening, the fact that you're paying attention tells me that you don't want that you want more, that you're willing to do the things that have proven successful to get more. This 10-year letter, this 10-year roadmap, this 10-year horizon thinking is a great way to start. When we talk about designing this decade, what does the map look like? Here are 4 simple ideas for you as you sit down and plan this. And when I say you sit down, I mean how I'm sitting down this weekend and planning this. What's the vision, bro? Question to ask around that. What do you want to be known for in 10 years? What do you want to be known for in 10 years? Another thing, what do you want your life to feel like in 10 years? What's the big overarching goal? What's the vision? The next one right below that, it helps flesh out the vision. It's the pillars. So we have our vision, we have our pillars. Our pillars are 3 to 5 areas that matter most, i.e., maybe it's your business, your health, family, faith, wealth. Those are usually the big 5 for most people: business, health, family, faith, wealth. And then ask yourself those overarching questions in each one of those pillars. What do I want to be known for in my health? What do I want my health to feel like 10 years from now? What do I want to be known for in my family? You know what I want to be known for in my family? That I was a real one. People ask me like, what do you desire in this life? Like when it's all done, bro, at the simplest form, I want my family, I want the people close to me to be like, "Man, that dude, he was the real deal. He was the real deal. Ain't no skeletons in that closet. What you got is what you saw. Like he was the real deal." Ask yourself the question, what do you want to be known for? What do you want your business to feel like? How do you want your faith to be? Whatever you believe in. So we got to go with our vision. Then we got to flesh that vision out with our pillars. And then we know what we measure moves, our milestones, yearly markers that add up to 10-year outcomes. Where do I need to be 5 years from now to hit my 10-year mark? Where do I need to be 1 year to hit my 5-year mark? Where do I need to be in 1 month to hit my 1 year mark? This is straight out of the one thing, guys. Take that 10-year goal, or in the book, they call it a someday goal, then break it down to a 5-year goal, then break it down to a 1 year goal, then a 1 month goal, then a 1 week goal, then a 1 day goal. We've got to put the mile markers in designing our decade so we know that we're on the path, we're heading in the right direction. As you're writing this out, as you're thinking and breaking it down, man, consider this. What daily habits or rhythms or rituals are going to guarantee the result? See, I don't think about it sometimes like that. Like that simple word change, that simple addition of what would guarantee the results makes you have to think about it a little different. What do I want to be known for in my health 10 years from now? What do I want my health to feel like? Cool. What are the yearly markers to get there? What are the daily rhythms that guarantee that 10-year result? Guys, we've got to start with the end in mind. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about that. Where are you going? Begin with the end in mind. A quote all the way from thousands of years ago. A man that knows not which port he sails for, no wind is favorable. If you don't know where you're going, you don't know if you're working right. My challenge to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what do you want your kids? What do you want your team, your community, your people that matter most to say about you in 2035? Write it down. Get detailed with it. My daughter is 5 right now. I would be writing and saying, Noah, right now you are 15 years old. This is what our relationship looks like. I'm not going to write down what she's doing. I'm not trying to pigeonhole her life into something, but I want to know what our relationship looks like. I want to know what it feels like. I want to know how much time I'm spent with her. That's the blueprint for your decade. Legacy requires a map, not just wishful thinking. And I think that's where we get it wrong more often than not. Amazon wasn't built on next week. It was built on what won't change in 10 years. The Stanford study, guys, the marshmallow you skip today, it's the freedom you're gaining tomorrow. Take a lesson from Steve Jobs. Apple didn't just launch products at random. It was playing decade-long chess. One of the things I know to be true is that greatness is rarely an accident. It's decade or decades long discipline. Let's start thinking in decades today. Let's start thinking in decades this week. And I will see you on the other side of 10 years before we know it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me this morning. I will see you tomorrow where we talk about collapsing all these horizons to live them at once. See you soon.